Hey, what's good everyone? Look, Westman here. This video is going to be a post-facto video on a little experience I had today with the Zamboni. Came in this morning like normal, did my thing, was time to do the cut just before 7 a.m. after the college practice. Came over the machine, turned it on, went to start it, and this is what I got right here. So, see there the voltage is dropping down. Not starting, so 6:50 in the morning, I'm kind of like, oh my god, the battery's probably dead. I didn't really check to see if it was on ACC when I first turned on accessory. I just kind of seemed like the battery's dead, so I got my car out to jump it. I got the different battery from the old machine, put it in here, still nothing. I charged this battery, still nothing. Figuring it's probably the starter, you know. I did have an automotive tester with me, which I'll explain a little bit later. I'm going to do a separate video about an automotive tester. I have one at home, but we don't have one here, and we should get one because it would have come in handy today. So I thought it was a starter. So went and replaced the starter, got a new starter, and I'll go through, show how to replace the starter because it's kind of part of what this video is about, but we'll do that a little bit later. Took the starter off. I don't know, it took me like 7-8 minutes to get it off. This wire here, a plug back here with a little plug. This is your wire, your hot coming from the battery. This is coming from your ignition to start the starter. Then there's just 2 bolts. You got one back there and you got one right there. So 7 minutes, get it out, brought it down to Napa. Can you test it out, make sure it's bad, because I couldn't test. I knew I had power here, but I couldn't test if the ignition was bad, which comes into play here, because that's kind of what the problem was, sort of. So he tested it. He said he tested the starter, and he's like, yeah, it's jammed up. It's not working. So, you know, they couldn't get one there. He's like, you got to go down to Wacom Electric. Went down to Wacom Electric. Thank you, Peter. Peter found one off the shelf for me, did a bunch of measurements, did a bunch of, you know, comparisons, and said, this is the right one for you. Came down here. He didn't test it because, under assumption that the other guy tested it and it wasn't working. Installed it. Starter got in, you know, again, 7-8 minutes, got in there, went to start it. Didn't start. So I'm like, what's going on here? Why it's not starting? Why it's not starting? So we'll get back to the starter here in a second. Like I said, I'll do how to take it out, how to put it back in, because I already kind of did that. Let's go back over this side. Back in my mind the whole time, I'm thinking that, you know, the machine won't start if the neutral safety switch is installed. So that's kind of what happened here. So I go up there, go to turn on, still not turning on. Like, what's going on here? Like, it's kind of like, you know, I know if the neutral safety switch is installed, engaged, it's not going to start. So I came down here, you can see here, this is the safety switch, and this little rod that goes in and out, and there's a little copper. I think that may be it right there. If this is in here, or in, you know, within, Donnie sent some stuff from Zamboni to me about this thing. I haven't looked at it yet to see exactly how it works, but did order me a new one. Nevertheless, like, it's kind of went and jiggled the wires, went up there and started. It started right up. I'm just like thinking, my God, like, what's going on? Like, how come I didn't look at this first? So I'm gonna replace that, do a separate video on the neutral safety switch. But I did, you know, it's working. So I gotta get back to the starter here in a second. But let's go back up here to the cab, kind of show you what's going on here with the neutral safety switch. So if the machine, if you go to start it, if it's in neutral here and the pedal's down, it's going to let you start it. If you're going to be, you know, in gear, so to say, forward, reverse, and you have this down, it's not going to let you start it. And that's kind of what was happening. If you see, like, you kind of will see a little bit, that little white thing moving up right there. It's kind of peeking out. And it's going to be peeking out right about there. So if you see it peeking out there, so something must have gotten stuck in there that closed the circuit, so it wouldn't let it start in neutral. If it's in neutral here with the pedal down, it's gonna let you start. It's gonna let you start it. But if you're, you know, in gear, so to say, with the pedal down, it's not gonna let you start it because it's gonna be bucking. So you have to have that pedal off for it to start. And this has to be in neutral. So it's not so much this, but this has to be in neutral, or the pedal has to be not pressed down for it to work. So I kind of knew that was, you know, in the back of my mind, like, that's a scenario that could happen, but I really didn't think it was the problem. So, which I should have. If I would have tested, you know, I know there's voltage here. If I had an automotive tester, which is just a little metal probe, like a screwdriver, the metal probe with the light in it, with a wire, with a clip. So you clip it to your negative battery and you stick it inside here. And if you want to start it, that light would start up. I'm gonna do a separate video on that because I have one of those at home. I was testing, fixing a windshield wiper motor, and I was able to diagnose, that it was the motor, and go into each little circuit. Anyway, it's a good thing to have, not very expensive. We'll do a separate video on that because that would have saved me some time today. I replaced the starter, $230. Not a huge deal. Like, it was the original one. It was gonna probably break down here eventually. I'm very fortunate I was able to get one here locally. If you had to wait a day or two, I would get the 500 over there. Not a huge deal, but in certain cases, certain rinks, you may not be able to find one. I would search one out and get one on shelf just in case. If your machine is over 10 years old, I would have a starter sitting there on the shelf ready to go just in case if you don't have a backup machine, things like that. Alternator, I don't think I replaced that yet, but I'm gonna look in the book. If I haven't replaced it yet, I think I'm gonna get one here ordered so I know I have it here, because that's probably something that's gonna fail here in the next couple years if it's the original alternator. So, like I said, a little unfortunate that I didn't discover it right away. I did miss a cut. I did miss, some adult skaters had to skate in some pretty choppy ice, so I feel bad about that. If I was able to come over here and just jiggle that wire over there, I could have got my cut done. So I should have known better. But again, that's why I make these videos and kind of show you what I've learned and my mishaps and my discovering what was wrong with the machine and how I got to it. So I thought I was following the right train of path to be able to get from here to there, but I guess I really didn't do it right. So I should have checked. If I had that little automotive tester, which I'm going to get one for here, I would have known that there's no signal getting to here. Then I probably would have asked myself, okay, it's not the starter, it's not the battery. Then hopefully that would let me to the neutral state to be switched sooner than later. So no worries, got the new starter in there. Don't have to worry about that anytime soon. So make sure to log that in the book. So for the rest of this video, I'm just going to show me taking the starter out and putting it back in for what it's worth. I mean, again, not very difficult, but I'll show you how I did it. For those of you who haven't done it before, it's really easy because it's such easy access. The difficulty about replacing the starter usually is because you have to be underneath the car reaching up. How it's located here with the side of the machine with the open door here makes it really easy to get to. So let's go ahead and cut the lat right now, and we'll come back here at the end and wrap things up. All right, here. Like I said, I'm gonna be disconnecting the battery just in case here. I know I already have it disconnected here, but don't do that. Now it's gonna be a 10 millimeter wrench on that one, 546. Let's go ahead and disconnect the battery terminal there. Just right. That's going to be a 12 millimeter on that post right there. Alright. Just going to get the plug off right here. There it is. That's a little clip right there on the back side. I don't think that's good. That's 10 millimeter too. We're gold here. That is also 10 millimeter, but I think I'm going to need the short end on this one. Excuse me, I meant 12 millimeter on that. Alright. I don't know if you can see it there, but it's the top bolt up here. There's one here, but it's the back one. It looks, looks like that. It's not gonna pull off, or is that? Oh, it's just clipped to the wire there, so. Yeah, it took me, I don't know, less than, well, right there, I got the camera just going right there. I'm on a 6-minute mark here, so less than 6 minutes to take it out. So let me run to the auto store. Hopefully have one in stock. If not, I know they could get one by tomorrow. I think we got a Denso right there, Denso brand. I'm gonna see if they could test this, but if not, probably replace it anyway since it's out. It's the original one. It's probably gonna fail eventually. If it's not, it's probably gonna be this thing right here. I'll buy a probe. I think I'm gonna buy a probe at the same time, so I just have it, just to have it, because it's a good thing to have here. And if it's not this thing, then And if it's not this, then it's gonna be above my head. There's only so much I know. So, all right, let me hustle down to the auto store. Be back here soon. All right, back from auto parts store. I didn't have it, so I had to go to Welcome Electric. Thanks a lot. I'm gonna give him a shout out, Peter. Fantastic job. Should say, yeah, I haven't plugged in here, but he did a bunch of measurements and cross-referenced a bunch of things to be able to pull this thing off the shelf there. Like I said, it's basically 2 bolts. Get the 2 bolts back on. Then we have the ignition wire goes there. Then your hot goes there. This is, he said, for a relay for a different application, so I could probably take that off if I wanted to. I was gonna let it hang there for now. No harm. So I'm gonna fit this in here just as it came out, just like that. Got my top bolt right here. Slide down in here. Now let me put this bottom bolt in here first, so I don't have to hold it up. I'm gonna hand tighten them together and go ahead and tighten it. Now I got this one right here. All right, I got a 13 millimeter here. That seems to fit it. So it's a different starter, different bolt. Go ahead and hook the battery up here. All right, there it is. Got the starter. Got it back in there. Like I said, unfortunately, it wasn't the starter, but you know, I don't know it all. Sometimes, you know, you gotta discover things as you go. And since I'm not a mechanic, I don't deal with, you know, the orders of operation on automotive every day. If I had that automotive tester, I think I would have got here a little bit sooner. At least I would have known something was, you know, it's not sending a signal, because we go to turn it on, it's cutting the signal to the starter with the ignition switch here. So, you know, something to learn here. I guess when I do these videos, so you guys can, you know, learn from my, you know, mistakes or my discoveries or my, you know, meandering to get to the answer, however you want to say it. So definitely a video worth. If you don't know how to change a starter out, the video is worth that, and at least the video is worth, you know, check things out before you know, go diving into something. Again, place the starter, not a huge deal. It was old. It was the original one. It's gonna probably fail here pretty soon. Next, you know, 1, 3, 5 years. You don't have to worry about that. I'm gonna do a separate video on a neutral safety switch. I called Dawn. I ordered a new one, so that's gonna be on the way. I'll do a separate video, like I said, about how it works, why probably what went wrong with it. And I already kind of showed you in the cab how it works. I know I've mentioned in another video how it kind of works and why it works, but we'll do a separate video about that, replacing that. Starter's good, the battery's charged up, the machine's running, got the ice done, super happy. Again, you know, wish I would have got to this solution sooner than buying a starter, but no harm, no foul. Everything is good to go. Got a brand new starter machine. I can't complain about that. So go throw a comment down there. Comments always make the channel better. Helps me learn, helps everyone else learn. Definitely appreciate you guys. That's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for watching. As always, hope you learned something. And like the localized man says, stay cool.